All right, let's jump right in. We're going to talk about a really cool idea today. What if reality isn't just there? What if it's more like a conversation? This constant back and forth between the stuff that's set in stone and the way we actually see it.
So, here's the big puzzle that gets this whole thing started. We know the laws of the universe, right? Physics, gravity, they're fixed. They don't change. But then you look at the human world, our history, our cultures, our everyday lives, and it's always changing. So, how can both of those things be true at the same time? It sounds like a total paradox, doesn't it? But the answer? Well, it's actually pretty beautiful.
And believe it or not, the key to figuring this out is probably hiding in a box in your parents' attic. It's a childhood toy. We're going to use a kaleidoscope. Yeah, a kaleidoscope as our main metaphor to really get our heads around how we actively shape the world we live in.
Okay, so let's break this metaphor down. First up, we need to talk about the unchanging pieces, the permanent stuff, the parts of reality that no matter what we do, we just can't change. We're going to call this the substrate. So, what exactly is the substrate? Well, think of it like the bedrock of reality. It's the part that just doesn't care what we want or what we're afraid of. It doesn't yield. It's the absolute foundation everything else is built on. It just is.
So, what's in the substrate? We're talking about things like the laws of physics, right? The arrow of time, always moving forward. The source material even calls it the quiet architecture of source, which is a cool way of saying the absolute basic building blocks of everything. In our kaleidoscope, this is the hardware. It's the tube itself, the mirrors inside, the little bits of colored glass. These are the fixed parts you're given to work with.
And here's the thing, we don't get to rebuild the device. We can't just decide, hey, I think gravity should be a little weaker today. Nope. And just like you can't open up the kaleidoscope and swap out the mirrors or add more colored glass, we have to work with the universe we've been given. The hardware is fixed.
Okay, so if the substrate is the hardware, then what's the software? What's the part that does change? Well, that brings us to the second piece of the puzzle, the pattern. The actual picture we see when we look inside, the one that's different every single time. And this is a really, really important distinction to make. The world we actually live in, it's not the substrate. We don't experience raw physics on a daily basis. We live in a world of meaning, of stories, of culture. Our real lived experience is the pattern, the picture that gets created when those unchanging pieces are viewed through a certain lens. Let me give you a powerful example: war. The fundamental pieces, the shards in our kaleidoscope, are pretty much the same every time, right? There's conflict, there's violence, there's loss. That's the substrate. But the pattern, the meaning we give it, that changes everything. Is it a fight for survival, a holy war, a noble duty, or is it just senseless murder for profit? The raw event is the same, but the world it creates in our minds and societies is completely, totally different depending on the pattern we choose to see. There's a line from the source material that I absolutely love. It says, "Meaning is not decoration. It's the geometry of the human world." Think about that. These patterns we create aren't just pretty fluff. They are the actual blueprint of our world. They shape our laws, our economies, our relationships. They are the geometry. So we've got the fixed pieces, the substrate, and the changing picture, the pattern. But what's the thing that connects them? What makes the pattern change? Well, that brings us to the third and maybe the most important part of all this: us, our role in the whole thing.
And that's what we call participation. It's the active force of change. In our metaphor, it's literally the turn of the wrist. That simple movement tumbles all the little pieces around and creates a totally new, beautiful pattern. And that's the point. We're not just watching the show. We are the movement. We're the hinge that makes a new world possible every single time we shift our perspective. You can actually think of it as a simple three-step process. Step 1, you observe the unchanging pieces, the substrate. You see what's really there. Step 2, you choose your perspective. You decide how you're going to look at it. That's the rotation. And step 3, boom, a new pattern is created. A new experience is born. And you know what? This idea explains so much about why we sometimes feel so powerless. That feeling comes from getting these two things mixed up. We look at a pattern, like, say, our economic system or some social rule, and we mistake it for the substrate. We think it's as fixed and unchangeable as gravity. But it's not. It's just a pattern. And it only exists because we, collectively, keep looking at the world through that specific lens. Okay, this has all been a cool thought experiment, but why does this matter, like, right now? What's the urgency? Well, it's because we're building something that is going to act like a giant, powerful mirror for all of humanity. And that thing is AI. Now, if you take away only one thing from this whole discussion, let it be this. AI is not learning from the cosmos. It's not learning about the raw, objective substrate. It's learning from us. It's learning from our patterns, all the data we've created, all our stories, all our biases, all our blind spots. AI inherits our interpretation of reality, not reality itself. And the consequences of that are, well, they're huge. Let's run through a few quick examples. If we feed an AI a pattern that says war is just an inevitable part of human nature, then what happens when you ask that AI to create a more efficient world? It might just treat war as a variable to be optimized. Or how about this? If our pattern treats people as just data points, as a click, a consumer, a statistic on a chart, then the AI we build will learn to do the same. It'll flatten people, stripping away everything that makes them human. And maybe the most chilling one of all, if our pattern frames human suffering as just noise in the system, something to be ignored, an AI trained on that data will learn to filter it out. It will literally learn to erase suffering in the pursuit of some cold, hard goal. And see, the AI isn't making a moral choice here. It doesn't get to choose the lens. We do. We are the ones holding the kaleidoscope. We are the ones turning it. The perspective that AI learns is the one we give it. And that perspective is getting baked into the very infrastructure of our future. Which brings us right back to the beginning and right back to us. It all comes down to our own power and our own massive responsibility, especially right now. There's this really beautiful, hopeful way to think about it. The substrate, the deep reality, yeah, that's ancient, billions of years old. But the pattern, the human world we live in, that pattern is brand new every single morning. Every day is a new chance to turn the lens, to pick a different perspective, and to create a better, more beautiful pattern. So that's really the heart of it all. The future isn't some fixed thing waiting for us. It's a pattern that we are creating right here, right now. The hardware is fixed, sure, but the picture is not. The choice of what to focus on, what to build, what to value, that choice is ours. The kaleidoscope is in our hands. The only question left is, what pattern are we going to create?